Hi, welcome to vlog number 47. This is the vlog where I talk about quarterly stories, which is my graphic novel that I hand write, hand letter, and hand ink, and then hand to you. It's a very personal story to me. It's about faith and mental illness, and I'm constantly constructing it and working on it, and I'm now currently on page 46 of quarterly stories. So, what have I been up to today? Well, today has mostly been occupied by watching my son, Benjamin, so that my wife could have a day out with her sister. And so what that means for those of you who have a toddler is that the majority of my day has been pretty occupied just making sure that he's safe and happy, entertained. A lot of watching cartoons, running around, making sure hands are washed, stomachs are full. Point being, today I've been pretty busy, but I managed to squeeze in time to pencil 2 panels for page 46 of Quarterly Stories. The way I work on my graphic novel is to spend 30 minutes a day on something having to do with my graphic novel, whether that's writing, penciling, inking, or doing production work. I generally try to do a panel a day, and that goes for penciling, inking, lettering, etc. Like, I generally try to at least get 1 panel's worth done a day. For me, that works out to about 30 minutes, usually more than 30 minutes. But on this page in particular, the nice thing is I can kind of hit that mark a little earlier because the page is less complicated. So today, since I had a lot of today off, it's a Sunday, I managed to actually find time to kind of squeeze in and get more than 1 panel done today. And I'd like to have more days like that in the future, and I might even panel a little more tonight. So that's what I've been up to today. That's my vlog for the day. It's going to be a short one, but I do want to start doing these as updates for what I do to work on my comics in general. Observations of the day. I'm currently reading a biography of Winsor McCay, which is really cool. For those of you who aren't familiar with Winsor McCay, he's the guy who did Little Nemo and Slumberland, practically invented animation, was a huge influence on artists such as Walt Disney, Charles Schulz, a massive influence on Bill Watterson, Chris Ware, Art Spiegelman, Maurice Sendak. Basically, point being, a lot of incredible artists, when you read interviews with them, refer to this guy, Winsor McCay. And once you see the full page spreads from the Sunday pages of Winsor McCay's Little Nemo and Slumberland, your mind will be blown. I recommend investing in buying one of the larger books that's the full page size prints of Winsor McCay's work. I actually have one of those. Keep it with me at work for inspiration because he knocked 1 page, it's like this massive Sunday size page, out like once a week. And so the guy's really inspirational, and I'm starting to read a biography on him, so I'm probably going to set aside time almost every single night to be reading about that, as well as reading some books on leadership that I'll probably be mentioning in this vlog. Which actually gets me to an interesting topic, and then I'll show you guys the progress on my pages. I think it's really important for creative people working in graphic design, or in new media, or in illustration, or in cartooning, or in whatever. If it's creative, I think it's important for you to look at creative work created outside of your field. So for instance, if you're a writer of fiction, maybe you should start seeing things that aren't fiction outside of your realm so that it can inform your fiction. If you're a cartoonist, maybe you should be looking to writers who are writing fiction to kind of see what they're doing and get inspired and get ideas about it. If you're a filmmaker, maybe you should be checking out cartoons, or maybe you should be checking out comic books. The point being, don't always look in your own field for inspiration, because what ends up happening a lot of the times, if all you're looking at, if you're a cartoonist, is other cartoonists, guess what your work's gonna look like? Other cartoonists. And if you're writing a comic book, or you're writing a graphic novel and all you're reading are comic books and graphic novels, then guess what your comics and graphic novels are gonna come out sounding like or looking like? Other graphic novels and other comic books. I think it's really important for us as creative people to be constantly growing, learning, and I think part of that, a massive part of that, is reading books, constantly reading books. I was realizing that I hadn't read a book in about 3 months, and that's a problem for me. I think that when I don't read books, it causes my mind to stagnate, it causes me to be less interesting when I'm in social situations, and outside of that, it causes me to stop engaging my mind so that my mind starts thinking of better ways to frame panels, better ways to show sequences, and also just about massively impressive things like science and neutrinos and massive conspiracies and all sorts of weird, impressive things like biographies of these amazing people who changed the world. When I'm not processing that in my mind and in my brain, and I'm not reading and engaging, then what I find myself having is kind of a stagnant mind, and so I start thinking on a lower level. And I always want my mind to be thinking on the highest level possible, so in order to do that, I need to be engaging and reading more books. My point in this vlog is actually to throw out a question to you guys, the YouTube audience. What books are you reading currently that you find inspiring? Do you read? Do you find that you need to read to find inspiration? Do you find reading beneficial to basically help your creative process? And for those of you who are creators, what books have you read that have really helped your creation? What books have you read about anything? I'd like to hear about it in the comments section because I'd like to honestly, frankly, check out what a lot of you guys are reading. I know there's a ton of creative people watching this vlog, and I know my audience is small, but I figure, even if 50 people who are watching this, 10 of them, 20 of them, give me a nice suggestion for what to read, there's a great reading list that I'll be provided with for the next month to a year. Please suggest what you think I should read next. I'm gonna get back to this Winsor McCay book, and I might show you guys what it is just so that it's not just some arbitrary thing. With all of that said, now I'm gonna show you the panels.